In the meantime, can we have Petra here next to stage? So, very interesting. Moving from Italy to England, I noticed something that the English collective is really, really passionate and proud of, and that is William Blake. But what if I told you that we have a man tonight that we would like to invite on stage that proves that William Blake actually is not only special to the UK, but it's an international asset, it's an international pride. So there is, I don't know if you had the opportunity to appreciate, or you will have in the next days, but here at the farm property, behind the gardens, we have an exposition where we have over 150 art pieces of William Blake that this special uncle, which is a Portuguese uncle, that did not even know English and learned the English language just to understand William Blake, put together to offer to Shimataji and to all of you. As Shimataji said, that to understand William Blake, you need to know Saja Yoga. You need to understand Saja Yoga. So, with your encouragement, I would like to have here Luis, Uncle Luis. Thank you.
Yes, our Holy Mother, Srimataji Nirmala Devi, dear Sahaja Yoga brothers and sisters, we have a Blake exhibition again. The last one we remember was back in 1985. Srimataji attended it, and Srimataji said she would like to see more exhibitions like that one. So that was 1985. Then Srimataji, that was written by a Sahaja Yoga called Chris Greaves, is here somewhere. Then Srimataji was coming to UK again in 2006, and we had another Blake exhibition, and this year again. So it's something we don't do all the time, of course, but it's just to celebrate that Srimataji says so many times William Blake is the most precise prophet of Sahaja Yoga. So it's someone very special for all of us. We celebrate him all the time, like Srimataji used to mention him so much, sometimes with a play, a theater, sometimes with songs, and sometimes also because his paintings are so important, we celebrate him with the paintings also. Srimataji mentioned that the paintings of William Blake are about Sahaja Yoga, all of them. For Srimataji, all the paintings of William Blake are about Sahaja Yoga, so sometimes we also have to give some attention to the paintings. Srimataji asked the Sahaja Yogis to collect all the stories, the recollections of Srimataji, the things she said. And the United Kingdom prepared, of course, a first draft, a first book. And in those days, Srimataji was not talking so much. She decided to speak a lot less. And the first draft of the UK recollections was being read to Srimataji. Srimataji heard the whole draft to the end. And then in the end she said, "Where are all the things I said about William Blake to the English Sahaja Yogis? Because I have spoken so much to them. So you must collect and record those stories as well." So the message came around. I was one of those culprits who had not shared all the stories of Srimataji. And perhaps one of the most important one is that Srimataji had a book of paintings of William Blake, and she showed us the paintings of William Blake, and she was explaining the Sahaj motifs, what the simple things, easy things we can all see in the paintings of William Blake that helps us to understand that William Blake really is a prophet of Sahaja Yoga. So Sri Mataji went through painting after painting. Each painting of William Blake in that book had a lot of meaning for Sahaja Yoga, as Sri Mataji was explaining. There was some recurrent theme, which was hands above the Sahasrara. Sri Mataji was pointing out those things to us. At the times, the chakras. At the times, the Sahaj deities, those deities that Sri Mataji has been teaching us about. At the times, it was the auras. At the times, the bandhan. At the times, it could be hands feeling the vibrations. At the times, a deity giving vibrations with the hands. At the times, the three channels of our subtle system were there in the paintings. Sri Mataji could see all those elements. About maybe an hour and a half later, we started showing Sri Mataji where they were. Oh, Mother, yeah, I can see here. Well, this one too. We all of us could see those motifs. So this was a difficult memory of Sri Mataji, hard to share unless we have the paintings to show that. And that's why it had to become either a slideshow or an exhibition. So that was the history behind this particular exhibition, trying to share, as Sri Mataji requested, all the things she said about Sahaja Yoga. This exhibition has so many paintings, but that was the conclusion. Each and every painting of William Blake is about Sahaja Yoga, is such a great prophet of Sahaja Yoga. In this exhibition, you may notice there's a particular painting of Milton. Now, Sri Mataji, Milton, the great poet, and William Blake wrote a very long poem about Milton, his favorite poet. Sri Mataji tells us that Milton was a great seeker of truth. That's who he symbolizes, the seeker of truth. And since the whole book is about Sahaja Yoga, Sri Mataji is telling us, and she explains why as well in our talks, we had to put at least two paintings from that book that Blake wrote called Milton. In one of those paintings, you will see Milton is there and his hands are up in the air as if looks like he's controlling the elements. The clouds are moving in a spiral direction. Sri Mataji kept explaining that Blake uses the spiral a lot in his paintings. That's an important motif. So we know that this painting is really like the others about Sahaja Yoga. And this brings to mind a certain incident with Sri Mataji. That's quite interesting. If you have the time, I'll just mention that one. There was a Sahaja Yogi from Latin America, comes from a hot country. And he was a bit depressed. He had a difficult time in life. Sri Mataji told him, come and stay with me and you'll feel better. He was still not feeling well. Sri Mataji asked him, what's the problem? And he said, oh, Mother, this weather, it's so cold. It's August in England. It's so depressive, So Mother said, I can give you a nice weather if you need, And the next day, it was like proper summer, Next day, a little too hot. Next day, even hotter, And then on TV, they were saying, this is a heat wave. Everybody was buying fans, to cool down. Sri Mataji also needed a fan. All the fans were gone. Sri Mataji then went shopping to find the fan because it was difficult to find. Just a sec. Can you excuse me? Just need some water. I can't speak, I'm sorry.
Fascinating. Well, as he's behind, one of the most interesting things that I found out from the exposition. Oh, no, please, Uncle, finish.
Some water now, thank you. I'm not used to talking in public, I'm sorry. So the Sahaja Yogi, now there was the heat wave. Sri Mataji had to go and find some fans. when Sri Mataji arrived, he went there to help unload the car. Sri Mataji looked at him, what's the problem? What happened, And he said, Mother, there was a huge problem here. It's so hot, we had to open all the windows. Then the neighbor started burning some garbage in the back, All the smoke was going straight to Sir CP's window. And he was coughing. He has a bit of a chest problem, and now he's coughing. And this Saj Yogi felt, what can I do? What I should do is tell the neighbor to stop the fire. But that's very undiplomatic. It could spoil the relationship with the neighbors. So there was nothing he could do. And Sri Mataji says, why didn't you change the direction of the wind? It's that simple, And he says, Mother, how can I change the direction of the wind? I'm only human. Mother says, you are a Saj Yogi. You can do these things, You have vibrations in your hands. Like this, so easy, And she did like this. And the wind changed, of course. And all the clouds went from one end to the other, He said, oh my God, I can't do these things. I'm only a Saj Yogi. I'm only a human being. Mother said, oh, no, it's very easy. Look. And all the clouds went the other way. I said, but I'm only human, Mother, I can't do these things. Mother said, yes, you see, tomorrow you are going to burn a fire there. And then you decide where it's going. Make sure it doesn't go to Sir CP's window, that's all. And it worked, It really worked. So we see these paintings of William Blake. They all have some Sahaj meaning, and we can relate very easily to the lectures of Sri Mataji. Everything she said, it's there. I promised to speak only 10 minutes, so this is the last one. One day we went to see the portrait of William Blake at the National Portrait Gallery, and on the souvenir shop we could buy a little head of William Blake, and it said there, the life-death of William Blake. Wonderful thing. Let's buy one for Sri Mataji. This could be a nice present for Mother. So now we just need to check if Sri Mataji likes this, because being a death mask, that's what was written there. Sri Mataji may not like it, so we'll find out first. So Sri Mataji was going to a concert, Amjad Ali Khan, and everybody was invited. So that's it, We have the head of William Blake. It's a plaster in plaster inside the box. The box covers the whole head. No one can see anything inside the box. We take it to the concert, and then, with luck, we might ask Sri Mataji, if she likes it or not. After all, it's a death mask, so we don't know. So at the concert, Sri Mataji was busy talking to very important diplomats. So because this was from the Indian embassy, very important people. She was talking to them, no chance to ask a question to Sri Mataji. Sri Mataji had the back turned towards me, and I said, okay, I'm going to take the lid out of the box just in case. As soon as I took the lid off, and now you can't see anything of the head, just the top of the head, Sastrara, nothing else. The rest is inside the box. The lid is out. As I took the lid, Sri Mataji turned her back immediately to the diplomats and looked at the box. And all she could see was the Sastrara of the head of William Blake. And Sri Mataji, from a distance of 3 meters, said, is he not beautiful? He is in meditation. That's what Sri Mataji said. Just from seeing the top of the head of something, And then we looked better in the books of the scholars, and they said, yes, actually this mask is not a death mask. William Blake fell asleep during this process with the sculpture to take a mask of him. So it's not a death mask, it's actually a life mask. And they say he fell asleep, but Sri Mataji must be correct. He was in meditation, But the Sastrara is all Mother needs to know who is in the box, So,
Thank you so much, Uncle, for these beautiful experiences. It's really these stories that help us to feel closer to our mother. And something that Uncle mentioned in the second story, one sentence that he said that stayed with me, is that he said that everything is in Shri Mataji's lectures. Everything that we need, we can find there. And this links nicely to the next item, because we have a yogini, Auntie Petra van Belois from Holland, who is going to offer a song, which, as she explained to me, she did compose and arrange, but she did not write herself. It's a compilation of quotes from Shri Mataji from the book of Adi Shakti, and also from speeches that inspired her so much in